Thank you for tuning in to Gain and Glow, a feel-good lifestyle podcast with me, Vanessa.
And me, Crystal.
All right.
Hey, guys.
Thank
you. Do you want to think of first? I'll think of first. Thanks for making it to episode number 2. That means you possibly enjoyed episode number 1 or you just found us. Either way, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
I'm just going to jump right into it. What's something we all need to do at the end of the day? Wind down. Not just whine, but like wind down. I mean, you have some wine in there too. Because, I mean, it's good. It's got, what does wine have in it? That's like, I almost said carcinogens. That's not it.
I was thinking parabens. I'm like,
parabens?
No, also
no. What is good about wine? It's got some antioxidants.
Antioxidants.
Yeah, like cranberries. So.
We can cut me saying this. Should we go back and start over?
Maybe. So, things we all know. Don't eat late. Don't sleep with the TV on. Turn off your phones like an hour before bed. But a thing to keep in mind is to be mindful at the end of the day. So you can do things that help busy your mind in a different way than just stimulating it with information or videos or self-comparison photos on Instagram.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope.
It is.
It's a dangerous hole to jump into.
Yeah. So some things to busy your mind in a different way. Me, meditate, and, there's apps for that. Like, you don't have to be like, how does one meditate? It's so hard. I don't know how to breathe, and...
You know what? I think episode 1, we actually talked about this.
Yeah.
Keep breathing.
Yeah.
Always be breathing.
Yeah. Her slogan. Always be breathing.
ABB. What would Terry Crews do? Just say.
Yeah. One of his... I think he'd always breathe.
Breathe.
Yeah. Okay, so you breathe. You read. You write down. And, you can write in a journal, and I know we all aim to write in a journal, but you can also write a to-do list because writing your thoughts down helps get them off of your brain, and so allow you to relax a bit. So I think those are pretty good.
And those are just, ways at the end of the night, you can just be like, okay. It's time to systematically shut my brain off.
Exactly.
First, let's shut off the social media.
Yes.
Then let's shut off all of that internal doubt voice that's going on.
Critical monologue.
Yeah. And then process the day. I wonder, too, if you process the day like that and you wind down like that, if you could change how you dream. Like, if you seem to have, a lot of nightmares or something, maybe trying that, to journal and get some subconscious stuff out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely think so, because if you're not worried about work the next day, all the things you have to do, which I feel like is something that everyone always thinks about, then, your dreams aren't going to be around work.
Yeah.
The whole goal is to, get more restful sleep so you can, take on the next day. And so besides, thinking and reading and writing, you can help shut your brain off by doing things like taking a bath. A little hydrotherapy.
Yes. Hot tub.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a hot tub, you probably don't need a bath.
Utilize that. I hear they're expensive, so get your money's worth.
Yeah. But if you take a bath, you do some Epsom salt, which also, besides just the hot water making your muscles relax, Epsom salt is really good for that and helps relieve tension and makes it so that, you can relax your muscles. And what I thought was interesting was, I don't know, taking, a bath was good for you, but until I kind of looked into it a little bit more, I didn't realize that your body being warm, in a bath, helps distribute heat throughout your body, which actually lowers your internal body temperature.
Really?
Yeah. So when you lower your body temperature, your body naturally lowers its temperature when you start getting sleepy. And so like taking a bath right before bed, which you only have to do like 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a whole thing.
Right. I mean, it can be if you want. But, be realistic with your schedule.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, you only need like 10 minutes and a hot bath, and then it helps to decrease your body temperature, and then you can relax easier. And I know that like when you have a hard time sleeping, it can kind of compound like days over days, and so it's like important to be mindful of doing these little tiny habits so that you can like create a pattern, create a habit, help yourself feel better like every day instead of just occasionally when everything piles up.
And they say it takes 21 days to create like an actual habit.
Yeah.
21 days.
Yeah. And then some people are even like, I think it takes longer. And some people are like, well, it depends on what you want to do. And you're
right.
Like,
yeah, it does depend on the habit. Some catch on quicker.
Yeah. But it's like the whole thing is like you have to do it every day in order to like make it so it's ultimately, a daily thing. Mm-hmm. But recently I've been trying little Noon tablets, or N-U-U. N-U-U-N. And I got one called Rest for Recovery. And so it says it's packed with electrolytes, magnesium, and a tart cherry flavor. And it says Noon is your kickbacks and relax water. So it's like a little tablet like Airborne is. And it says it has electrolytes and which are good, Gatorade. Like, I mean, I feel like growing up, you think Gatorade is the only source of electrolytes,
right? And it turns out Gatorade is not that good for you.
Yeah, and they're like, disclaimer: only for athletes that burn 1 million calories a day can handle this much sugar intake.
Right, exactly. It reminds me of that movie Idiocracy too. Electrolytes, yes. It's what plants crave.
Yeah, and then again, Terry Crews.
Yes, it's my boy, T. Crews.
But yeah, so but the main factor of it is like it's only got 1 gram of sugar, which is awesome. I mean, while trying to watch our calories,
yeah,
our sugar levels, but it has a high level of magnesium. It's got 300 milligrams, and women need around like 330 milligrams of magnesium a day, and men need about 400 milligrams. And I was interested to find out that it's kind of not like a common ingredient in like a multivitamin, that you really get more of it naturally through food like legumes, nuts, seeds, and green leafy vegetables. And it turns out that about like 50% of Americans and some like Western European countries don't get enough magnesium in their daily diet.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, magnesium, that's a cool thing. And like that I could just take to go to sleep and like a melatonin or something, because like it helps relax your body by like lowering your blood pressure. It's it kind of regulates your blood sugar levels, which I think it kind of all ties together. And so when your body is a little bit more balanced, like they also say it can reduce the effects of depression, which I think if your body's more balanced, like you're less likely to feel symptoms of depression.
Yeah.
So,
and it's easier to combat what you do feel when you're feeling healthy.
Yeah. So I've been trying it for like a week, and I think it's helped give you like that feeling of calm that you get when you kind of take a deep breath and then you let it go, and then you feel the weight of your body, and you're just like, oh, I'm here. I'm in the moment. I'm relaxed. Everything's fine. But yeah, besides that, my last little tip on winding down at the end of the night is to end the night on a positive note. And whether you like believe in like repeating affirmations to yourself, which I think everyone should do, because I think we tell ourselves more negative things each day than we do positive things. And I think it's kind of our culture to like focus on the negative to fix it instead of appreciating the positive. So, but if you don't, want to do something like that, you can just, think about something that happened that was good in the day, or something that you're looking forward to, so that you can kind of end your night on a happy note.
Oh, I like that. It's funny. Okay, so one of my things I wanted to talk about was winter blues, like SAD, seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
And how to combat that. And I know especially up in here in the PNW,
up in here,
in the good old PNW, it can get tough because
for sure
we also get these especially this time of the year, we get these pockets of beauty outside, and then all of a sudden it's hailing, and we're like, oh, okay, so now it's gray, and it's hard to feel rejuvenated when the outside world is so gloomy.
Yeah, for sure.
But one of the things to get through those winter blues and stuff is to take me time, taking a bath.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to talk about, I have this body wash I got from a FabFitFun box, and it's called Yoga. It has a lot of A's, I think. But it's an Epsom salt body wash and hand wash.
Oh, that's cool.
And weren't you telling me Epsom salt has magnesium in it, right?
Yeah.
Boom! So
yeah.
Epsom salt baths are a great way to actually combat winter blues too. Taking that me time to soak in it and give your body that magnesium and making sure you're warm and allowing your body to lower its temperature and go into more of a relaxed mode can help combat how depressed it can get. Depressing it can get when it's so gray outside.
Yeah, and then you're not feeling warm at all, and you're just why is everything so cold? And then you're gonna end to be a nice little warm bubble.
Yes. And there's nothing better than feeling all clean and getting in warm, clean sheets.
Yeah.
I love to just kick my legs. Just rub them against the sheets. It's funny, when I was a little kid, I think I had restless leg syndrome or something, because I'd lay in bed with my brother and my sisters, and we'd be watching TV at the end of the night or whatever, and I would just have this urge to just kick my legs, just feel the sheets really quick. There's nothing more comforting to me than just soft, warm sheets and just being oh, I just love it so much.
Yeah, for sure. And and being clean and then being in clean sheets, it's I know those days you're lazy or you're just so exhausted that you're I'm not gonna take a shower, and then you get in the bed and you're I feel grungy in the bed now.
Yes.
So does it make you feel as good as you want?
Yeah. So taking a nice good bath, or even I'll be fully honest, you're not a bath person.
Mm-hmm. I knew it.
Yes.
I knew it.
However, it's because I've never had a good bath. I've never had a tub where I could fully soak. It's one of my goals to build a house all around one tub. My goal is to be at a point where I can brunch every Sunday and have a decent tub.
With a crystal chandelier, floor ceiling windows.
Yeah.
I mean, how else do you take a bath?
I need an easy 2,000 square feet for my storage stuff, my hoarding problem. But yeah, so combating.
Combat.
Yeah, kick winter blues butt. Was that a shotgun?
It was 2 fists.
Oh,
real fast.
I thought you just cocked the shotgun. I was okay. This escalated quickly. I'm on board with it. Let's go there.
I need to go into combat together.
Yeah,
but
anywho,
paintball combat, not
right. I do not. You know what? We went a little political. To fight those winter blues,
take a bath. Or if you're not a bath person, I'm nice sure a shower just as good.
Yes. I love taking a nice hot shower. I like to move my shower head to the massagey one and let it just massage my neck. And
I want one of those.
Oh, it's so nice. And getting a good scrub. I got a nice coffee scrub, which the smell of coffee makes me happy.
Yes.
And then I feel so exfoliated, and I have super sensitive skin, and it doesn't make me react.
Oh, that's
so nice. Yeah, I get so excited. But so taking me time, a bath or a nice warm shower, or me time can also be all kinds of things that are more unconventional. If you make jewelry as a hobby, sit down and crank out a few pieces, set yourself a goal and be I'm going to do this. Or, if you really just want to go sit outside and breathe in the air, or look at the birds, or whatever you're into. But combating those winter blues, the main thing is put yourself in a state of care. Take care of yourself. And also, another thing, which I wouldn't have thought of this, but it makes sense once I read it. Get out of your comfort zone by going on a trip or trying a new hobby.
Oh.
So, at first I was like, okay, that's an interesting tip for winter blues.
Yeah, I really have energy in the winter to try new things.
Right. And then I'm like, oh, okay. I gotta change that thought process.
Yep.
But it makes sense when you're getting out of your comfort zone. There's like that fear and that nervousness and anxiety. Like what we feel before we push record every episode.
Yeah.
But then once you do something that's not in your zone, you feel so powerful. Like I remember when I did my first kickboxing class, I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm gonna die. I did a Spartan race in that shape, and I legit, it's...
Before you even did kickboxing.
Before, yeah, and I was so out of shape, I was like, my grandma prays for me a lot. I think that's why I didn't die. So when I went into kickboxing, I was like, oh, yeah. But after I finished that, I was like so proud. And then I go into this first kickboxing class, and I'm like, I feel the same way. I feel like hopefully my grandma prayed for me last night, like she always does. I'm about to die. But then once I finished doing it, and I got out of my comfort zone, and I got out of my head with how I looked and all of that, it was like, wow, I feel powerful. Like, so powerful. And when you get out of your comfort zone and you try a new hobby, or you go on a trip somewhere you've never been, or go on a solo trip, take a cell phone. Yeah. Don't get murdered.
Yeah.
Be safe, please.
Mindful of your surroundings.
Please be mindful. But when you go out of your comfort zone and you accomplish that thing, you just feel so great about yourself. And that's a great way to kick those winter blues. Towards the end of the winter, when you're trying to really like get out of the funk, take a trip. Take that vacation time. Go on a weekend getaway. Use President's Day. Let's use that for something. Why not a me time trip?
I think this winter is probably the first winter that I have made it a consistent goal to go like work out a few times a week, like, and not be so hard on myself on whether or not it was like 4 days a week or whatever. I'm just like, if I went twice this week, like with how I feel and letting things get in the way or whatever, like then I still feel really good. And then each time you go and do something new, like you get better and you get stronger, and then you're like, oh, okay, you're more likely to keep doing those things. Yeah. Which I think is important because winter's a long season.
And if you think about it, if you can get through winter and dedicate yourself to some new hobby or some new exercise regime or like whatever, by the end of winter, you've now created a pattern through that care.
Look at us creating habits.
Right? It's like if you can find things that have a byproduct of a benefit, then that's your goal. If you can find a workout that's fun and fitness is the byproduct, if you can find a hobby that you enjoy and like your good patterns are now the byproduct of that, then there's the secret to life right there.
Yeah, you're winning.
Boom.
I love that.
Also, drink a lot of water.
Oh yeah.
Water. This is the time where I'm going to divide the listeners, all 8 of you. I'm going to divide you right down the middle here.
Uh-oh.
It reminds me of Waterboy, because I love Adam Sandler. Okay?
Who doesn't?
Right? If you don't like Adam Sandler, that's fine. I support you, but I don't like it. I don't like that you don't like it. But it reminds me.
You've got to like one of his million movies.
At least one! He's so... Okay. Again.
It's neither here nor there.
I feel very... committed to my love for Adam Sandler, like my love for Terry Crews. These are my heroes here. But it reminds me of The Waterboy, where he's just like pushing this water, and he's like, H2O! H2O! And I'm like, that's everything about feeling good is H2O.
I actually went to a restaurant recently where the waiter comes up and he's like, hi, you guys. I brought you some H2O, yeah.
Yes!
For the table. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm so excited to drink this water.
And I'm going to tip that waiter
immediately.
So heavily.
Like, hasn't even provided service yet. First attempt is, like, he didn't even give me the menu yet. And yet I'm like, Here's all my money.
Right, I'm already engaged. I'm already engaged in what you have to offer with your service. I tip anyways, but I tip a lot more if you're very great.
Yeah.
Anywho,
positivity just
water.
Overwhelming us.
Right.
Back to water.
But like, drinking more water can actually help combat winter blues. It can also help combat some byproducts of those winter blues, like overeating and how we feel when we overeat. Because another thing that we tend to do is self-medicate through substances like food and alcohol and all this stuff.
Because we want to hibernate like bears.
Exactly. And I don't think any of us can sit here and deny how good a donut might make you feel. And how much you want it after you've already eaten it.
Oh, yeah.
And how much another one would be great. Yeah. And it's funny because I've found myself, like, full on just, like, eating, like, 400 snacks and being like, now I feel disgusting. And then I consciously am like, drink a bunch of water. Because if you drink water, your body will start to digest, and water helps with bloating. Yeah. And bloating can contribute to winter blues. Yeah. When you send yourself into this cycle of self-medicating through food or over-drinking, and then your physical body is not great now.
Yeah,
it's bloated,
so you're, like, gonna be less active.
Yeah, and you can start to retain water. And the way to combat that is to just drink more water. Drink more water. So I'm like, H2O. And then, of course, it's super important to be in control of what your brain is doing and how you're talking to yourself when you're in those states of the winter blues, of the, that gloom and that doom. You have to consciously make an effort to turn your mindset in a different direction. There's a lot of different mental challenges that we can come across from day to day and time period to time period, depending if we're going through a period of grief or if we're going through a period of success. We feel differently. We talk to ourselves differently in those times. And depending if you have, if you struggle with mental illness, it can be different. It'll take more effort or less effort, or it's not possible to change consciously. But it doesn't, everybody has the ability to go, okay, I'm going to be mindful that I'm currently focusing on all the bad because I feel bad. Yeah. So now I have to force myself to focus on the good long enough for it to become a pattern. And we have to make those conscious efforts to turn our view into positive.
Yeah. It's like, you're tired, you're cranky, you're hungry, but you've already eaten. Like, you feel hungry, you feel snacky. I mean, I like late at night, I think is like the time where it hits me, like the day is over, you're home, you might be alone. Even if you're not, you're like, okay, what do I do now? And when it's like winter and you're like, I'm not going outside. Right. Like my instinct is to snack and like watch a movie. And sometimes I think it's just best to not snack, drink some water, go get in some water. Yes. Take a bath, help wind yourself down. And then you have time to like make a decision. Like, okay, do I really want a snack now?
Right. And then talk to yourself and start directing your focus on something more positive. And it's funny because I really like the book The Secret, and I've read the Tao Te Ching. Yeah, which all of these things talk about the power of intention and bringing stuff to you and willing the universe to give you the good things. And I like to think about it in like the realm where that should apply to everybody. Because even if you don't believe in the spiritual aspect of it or the connectivity in the universe, if you look at it from a psychological perspective, there's a phenomenon where if you get like a Prius, I have one, like, and this happened to me actually, when you get a Prius, let's say, just hypothetically, you all of a sudden realize there's like hundreds of Priuses on the road. And in my perspective, I was like, I never really consciously was like, oh, I see a Prius every 5 seconds until I was driving one and I'm like, Prius twin, Prius twin, Prius twin. Yeah. But there's this psychological effect that you can have that occurs, I guess, where when you're thinking about positive things, you're more likely to notice them. So
I
you
like that.
yeah,
a double whammy.
Exactly. So if you think about it from the emotional perspective, you're focusing on positivity, so you're feeling more positive. If you think about it from a spiritual or connectivity perspective, we're all connected to the universe. So if we communicate with the universe and will it to ourselves, we can deliver that to ourselves. And then from a psychological perspective, if let's say you don't want any of this mumbo jumbo of like religion or spirituality, psychologically, when you're trying to find the good, you will find it.
Yeah.
Because now your brain has rewired itself to look for it.
Yeah. And that helps with like your stress levels too. And it helps like with your relationships, because if you're looking for good, then you might be like, okay, well, I didn't like that this person did this, but instead of, getting mad at them, I might say like, hey, thanks for trying to help me, but this would work better. Right. Or, like, this is how I wanted it, and whatever. And so saying something like that is so much nicer than be like, you idiot, you did it wrong. Why are you even trying to help me? And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Bring it down a notch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not ever that dramatic, but but yeah, it's important to be conscious of your attitude, because it does affect everyone like you interact with. And so I think that's a connection right there, whether or not you believe in like spirituality. It's like, if I go and piss off Vanessa, then she's gonna carry that to the next person she interacts with, right, whether or not like they did anything. And I think it's good karma, just
right,
to do as many good things as you can. Just like something kind of funny, it's not really like, I guess it's kind of positive. If I'm ever on a walk and I see like a screw on the or a nail on the ground, I just pick it up. And then I just take it to me, take it with me wherever I go to, like, and then I'll throw it away. Just because I think it would ruin my day if I got a flat tire because someone, like, left a screw on the street and they saw it.
That's interesting.
Or maybe they didn't, because it's like there's so many construction sites. Like, we live near a city, and so there's always construction, and so it happens. Like, screws fall off trucks, whatever. But yeah, I think that's my little my little thing, my little positive thought.
You very well could have prevented somebody's flat tire, like going through a crosswalk and be like, oh, that's a sharp screw, that's gonna puncture a tire, pick it up, and then had you had not, somebody could have run over that and gotten a flat tire. And that ripple effect, it's like, even if you don't believe in fate or spirituality or whatever, psychologically, it's just common sense. Had you have left it there, it would have probably caused a flat tire.
Yeah, and then that person would be mad and they'd carry that on, whereas like they would have just driven and gone about their day.
Exactly. And if you have struggles with like consciously focusing on positives, or don't really know how to send a message out to the universe to will it to yourself or whatever, they say one of the best things to do is to journal, is to write it out and process it. Now, I struggle with journaling just because I don't know why.
I do too.
It's really tough to get into it. So an alternative, if you don't do traditional journaling, you can practice reflection. So basically, at the end of the day, you can make lists. And I'm a Virgo, and I love lists. And I know that again, let's divide the audience. Astrology, here she goes. I think it's fun, okay? But if you don't like traditional journaling, like dear diary today,
and write out your whole day,
and honestly, after a while, I get bored. My hand cramps. I just get impatient.
You're like, I went to work, okay,
right? And the practice is to look at the positive.
Yes.
So in order to make it positive, you can do reflecting, where you make a list of the positive things that happen in that day. So you can make yourself committed to 10 things every evening. Yeah. You sit down, you number your paper, and just go, boom, I can think of 10 good things. Anybody can think of 10 good things.
Yeah. I follow like a couple random like journals because I've liked their format, and so they're kind of on Instagram, always advertising to me. But one of them said, like, if you're struggling to use your planner, to just tell yourself you need to write down one thing a day.
Yes.
That way, so you get to that day in your calendar and you're like, okay, do I need to add anything? Do I not? Or just say like, oh, I'm working out today, or, oh yeah, I'm having coffee with Vanessa on Saturday. So, and they're like, you get it off your mind, and then you move on about your day. So it's like, it's just taking that intention to make sure like you're checking in with yourself.
Yeah.
Which I think leads to thinking about what you can do to help yourself.
Mm-hmm. It organically sets you up to be more successful in that self-care. And it's important to, obviously, if you struggle with mental illness, if you have a history of mental illness, if your family has a history of mental illness, if your blues last beyond the winter months, if they last beyond your child's first 3 months, I mean, if you feel sadness beyond the normal kind of doom and gloom seasonal stuff, then talk to a professional. Find a doctor that cares for you and your mind. Find somebody who knows that food is medicine and that pills aren't the end all. Talk to a therapist. Yeah. Definitely go seek help.
Reach out.
Yeah. The ultimate thing is your general winter blues. These tools are great for. But also, be in sync with your body and really listen to your body to make sure your blues aren't actually a precursor to being sick as well.
Yeah, because that also happens.
Especially in these months.
Yeah.
Everybody gets sick during these winter months. You get the flu. I mean, now we've got coronavirus, apparently. So sometimes that doom and gloom and that kind of sadness that you might feel, or that overall general tiredness that can be associated with depression or with that winter blues could actually be your body getting sick.
Yeah,
it's your immune system starting to.
Body's having a hard time like fighting a virus or a cold or something. Then it could just make you feel down, and then you could think you're, starting a depression or just something's off, and like, and I think that's your signal. It's like if you're feeling low, something's off.
Yeah, something's off, and if you're sick, make sure you treat that differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And know what to do when you do actually get sick. That's another thing I wanted to talk about today, was actually knowing when to work out when you're sick and looking for the signs of when it's actually safe and when it's more detrimental. Because, excuse me, although like exercising is obviously healthy for you, and 30 minutes of activity every single day is the goal for everybody. It should be the goal.
Yeah, base level.
That's your baseline right there. 10,000 steps, 30 minutes a day of activity, and that already gets your body like rip-roaring ready to go.
Yeah.
But when you're sick, certain things can mean that it's actually time to take a day off from exercising, and I think it's important to talk about that, especially as we go into these months where, yes, coronavirus is super scary and big and new. It's new. The flu is still rampant, and that actually has a higher death toll.
Yeah.
And a lot of mistakes we make is going, I'm not too sick to work out because I don't want to lose all this progress. I'm holding myself to these standards, and then finding ourselves really hurting ourselves or feeling worse, or we're spreading it around the gym.
Yeah, because you're touching everything everyone else is touching.
Yes. So when do you know when to work out? Look first for signs of a cold. That's your kind of baseline. Do you have a cold? Do you have a scratchy throat? Are you sneezing? Are you coughing? The general just kind of head cold stuff. Moderate to low impact workouts of like 30 minutes or less can actually help fight that. Oh. So 30 minutes or less of moderate low impact working out can actually help you get through that head cold.
Nice. And that can be like simple things are in your house too. Like if you have a dog, you like chase them around. Yeah. And throw their ball at the park. So like you get a little bit of fresh air, you get a little bit of energy expended. And I like to think of exercise as not just being like having to go to the gym, but like you're just taking a walk, like a 30-minute walk, like brisk walk. It's like if you just did that, it's like you aren't doing something too strenuous.
Yes. And you're still getting you're getting activity in.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel bad about being, off your plan or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll help because it can, working out 30 minutes a day boosts your immune system anyways. Being that active, it boosts your immune system. But if you have signs of like a widespread like infection or virus, like diarrhea, body aches, a deep chest cough where you're trying to like you feel it coming out of your chest more than your throat, and a high fever. Yeah. That means that your body's actively fighting some kind of infection or some kind of virus, and you are already expending a lot of energy internally fighting that.
Definitely.
That if you actually work out, your body can actually start to harm itself. It's no longer able to repair and recoup the same way. So they say it's actually bad for you to work out when you feel like a virus like that.
Yeah, and you can totally be spreading it, and if you're getting sweaty and clammy, like you do not have the physical strength to be like moving around too much.
And it seems disgusting, but keep in mind if you do happen to throw up on like on a kickboxing mat or at the gym on some weights, you're spreading that through your throw up and through your gland, like your mucus, and so. And you're not doing anything to benefit yourself.
Yeah. Or other people.
And they say, sometimes sharing isn't caring. So the fun thing that I took away, though, was they say, just to keep it in mind and to always remember, use the above the neck rule.
What's that?
So if your sickness is above the neck, but you're genuinely sick, 30 minutes or less of low impact working out is good for you, and you should do it. Okay. If your sickness feels below the neck, in the stomach, in the chest, in the
sweat glands,
lower parts of the in your sweaty glands. If it's below the neck, then no. Take time to rest. Yeah. Genuinely, fluids and sleep are your best bet.
Yeah.
No working out. And obviously, always talk to your doctor to be 100% sure.
Yeah. If it's questionable, just don't do it. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's kind of a safe assumption, because I know sometimes I feel like I'm starting to get a head cold, but then it's kind of weird right now because it's winter, but it's starting to get a little springy, and so things are blooming, and so sometimes it's like you can get affected by allergies and you're like, oh no, I'm getting sick, what do I do? Oh my god, I don't want to go to work. But yeah, sometimes it's you just have to again be mindful
and you know, and if you're taking time to like check in with yourself in the evenings, you'll start to quickly pick up on things like that.
You'll know how you feel every night. Like, it's different.
And if you find yourself waking up not feeling well, and you make the effort to get out of bed, get ready, and you start to feel worse, that's a good indicator too that, all right, it's time to check in. Are you getting sick, or what's going on, and how sick, and reevaluate whether you really should head to the gym.
Yeah.
You don't want to hurt yourself, and you don't want to push yourself beyond your limits during these flu seasons. And,
no.
Mm-mm. You know, especially, you know, with those winter blues, if you get hurt or you make yourself more sick, it'll spiral.
Yeah, and if you hurt yourself, then you feel bad about missing out on more. Where if you just took a day, it wouldn't really mess up your routine.
Sleep it out. Sleep it out. Drink water. Water. H2O.
H2O. Yeah.
I've always wanted to, like, I thought it'd be so cool to try to find that prop of the little water bottle he gives Vicky Vancourt. Do you know what I'm talking about in Waterboy? Oh, okay. So, there's a scene. Well, now, is this a spoiler if this movie's like 20-something years old?
No.
Okay. I don't know if that counts.
You haven't seen it now.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to ruin it.
Yes, spoiler alert. Vicky Valancourt is her name. He falls in love with this girl named Vicky Valancourt. And he takes her back to his house, and he gives her this little bottle of water that his dad supposedly scooped up from, like, glaciers or something. And she's like, oh, it's still cold. And he's like, yeah, it always stays cold. Like, and it's just this, I don't know. I've always thought it'd be cool to get that little water bottle as, like from the legit movie prop.
Yeah.
See if it's still cold.
Just like handing out mini water bottles. Drink your water.
Drink your water. This is just your reminder. Hang it in your car. Whatever you need to do. You see it? Drink some water. H2O. Anywho. water. Let's talk about food.
Yes, please. Can we talk about something I care about? No,
Food. I work out to eat food.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, on days when I work out a lot, I'm like, oh, right, I've burned 500 calories. I'm going to eat at least 3 of those.
Right?
300.
Yes, 300 calories.
But, yeah, I mean, I've always been a person who ate like 6 meals a day or whatever, and I felt like that was normal. And until I became an adult and lived on my own, I realized that like everybody's body is different, and it really doesn't like. Some people, like our boy Terry Crews, fast until like 2 p.m., which for me is like, whew.
I could not make it.
It's too much.
I wake up hungry.
Yeah.
So I eat that banana. I actually don't. I'm not hungry when I eat my banana in the mornings, but after kickboxing, I am.
But yeah, like I like I'll eat like a late morning sometimes, but I try to eat a little late and like eat dinner a little early, so like I don't snack as much. But I do enjoy snacking. So some things I like to have on hand are like hard-boiled eggs, which this might divide the audience as well.
We're gonna divide them. It's right down the middle.
Some people don't like eggs. And that's fine.
Should we talk about our nickname for eggs?
What does our coworker call them?
Fart spheres.
Fart spheres.
They smell like fart and they're shaped like spheres.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good office rule that you don't eat eggs around your coworkers.
Right. However,
save it for the break room.
Yes.
But if you have hard-boiled eggs and you peel them beforehand, then when you take them out of the fridge and you just put them on like a plate or something, like that smell's kind of gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're cold.
If you let them age, okay.
Yeah, that too.
I know. Boiled eggs are such a good snack, though. They're so good. I eat them with too much sriracha. We've talked about this.
I do like sriracha. Like, and you can put like anything on them if you want them, like sriracha or like salt and pepper or mustard. I like to do mustard. But then one time I had, I also like carrots and hummus, but I never eat like the whole tub of hummus because I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna eat this every day. But I put like hummus on my eggs, like sliced in half, almost like a little deviled egg.
Oh,
That's pretty good with a little tapatio.
That's delicious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
But also smoothies are like almost an everyday thing for me because I feel like you can make a smoothie taste like a milkshake, but it's not as guilty.
Yes. I know, it's such a nice sweet treat.
Yeah.
And then after your workout, you need that protein. If you throw in the protein shake like you do, it's delicious.
Yes. I get a Vanilla Quest protein shake and then I throw on some like frozen fruit and boom, tropical smoothie.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah. And also like I know we both like this. Both like applesauce.
Oh yeah. I'm the applesauce bandit.
Yeah. She might have stolen some applesauce.
I was accused of stealing applesauce.
That was never proven.
It was wrong. I was wrongfully
wrong.
accused.
Yeah.
I had my own applesauce and
Yeah.
someone tried to say I stole theirs.
It was like it was the same brand, right?
Oh yes. But yeah, I get the unsweetened applesauce from Winco. I get the Winco brand.
Oh.
And it's like even though it's unsweetened, it's still delicious.
Yeah, and it makes me question why we even sweeten applesauce. Because I'm like, I get the unsweetened one from Trader Joe's that has cinnamon in it because I am in love with cinnamon.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's so good. It's like it gives you that like little tartness of an apple, but it's still sweet. So you're like, why are we even sweetening this to be like unrealistic? But that's a whole nother thing.
It's sugar.
Yeah, it's sugar in everything we eat. But and then on the other side, a little savory snack.
Ooh.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Oh, I do like popcorn.
I love popcorn. I love butter popcorn. I love kettle corn popcorn.
I love kettle corn. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and like one time I bought like a lightly salted popcorn, and it tasted like it was like had sodium, but it wasn't salt. It wasn't like salty popcorn. It was really weird. And so what I decided to do was just buy regular plain popcorn and then just melt some butter and then put some garlic salt in it and do my own little drizzle. So it's like you're not getting like a whole ton of like whatever chemically butter they put on popcorn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't even know what that
I'm
is.
not even sure what it is, but it's delicious. And so just drizzle that on there, and then, like, you know what the calories are. Mm-hmm. You can eat pretty much a whole bag for, like...
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm really, like, I just want to snack, I want to watch a movie on a weekend or something, and just snack, and not feel bad about it, popcorn is my thing.
Yes.
What about you?
Oh, first of all, I have to add in another snack that has, like, not a lot of guilt to it. Pork rinds.
Oh, yes!
Oh my gosh.
I love pork rinds.
And I douse my pork rinds. I douse them in lemon juice and tapatio.
That sounds good.
Oh, it's so good. I'm like salivating thinking about it. But pork rinds also a great snack to keep around because they're low guilt. They have
no carbs.
Yeah, no carbs. I think they have fat in them. So
I think they're like 100% fat.
Yeah,
but like. Because they're just puffy pork pieces.
Yeah.
But they're all just like air.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like crunching on air.
And it's so delightful and satisfying.
Mm-hmm. I love crunches. Like, yes. I really just want to eat a bag of chips, but... Right. Like, pork rinds are like an alternative.
Really good alternative. And, you know, the one of the biggest struggles with, like, eating healthy, too, is there's a lot of snacks that are very shelf-stable and you know, non-perishable, but majority of healthy food is so perishable. One of the things that I've really tried to learn a lot about recently since I've started eating healthier, well, first of all, it's a money thing for me. It's very expensive to eat healthy, and that's a societal problem. I think.
Well, then, like, when everything can expire so quickly that you're like, well, pasta never expires.
Right. And healthy food is a little bit more expensive than processed food. So it's like, how do we make these healthy foods last longer and really get our use out of their lifespan? Mm-hmm. Because also... certain things you'll get and they'll go bad before you can finish it all. Mm-hmm. So how do we do that? How do we manage that? That's a big question I asked myself when I started eating healthy was how do I manage keeping this good long enough to where I can actually eat it and I'm not spending hundreds of dollars.
Or going to the store like every other day.
Yes. And I've now officially, I can proudly say I've cut it down to a once a week.
Good for you.
Which has also contributed to keeping my healthy foods, keeping me from wasting money is being realistic with myself. Yeah. What am I going to eat within a week? Mm-hmm. Giving myself a realistic amount to consume. It's hailing so big right now outside. It was just sunny a second ago.
This is the Pacific Northwest.
If you hear tapping, that's hail.
Yeah. It's not a bird.
Yeah, and I don't have long nails or anything like that. But one of the best ways to keep your healthy food good and keep it from going bad is green juices. When you have green juices, to freeze them.
Oh!
So you
I didn't think about that.
Yes.
How easy would my smoothies be if I froze some green stuff?
Exactly. So you can freeze green juices and they'll last longer than they do in the fridge. And depending on what vegetables you're juicing, it will change the lifespan. But
sometimes you juice a vegetable and you're like, that's it?
Yes. Celery.
Yeah.
I love celery juice, but I have to put in literally a whole pack where I'm like, this is a half a glass. Okay. But those green juices, they're so good for you, and it's such a good staple to a healthy diet because it's good for your gut health. You get a lot of nutrients, and it's an easy way to get in a lot of those greens that you need daily.
Yeah.
But they do go bad.
Yeah.
And juicing takes a long time.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
And when you juice and it's just like if you leave it sitting there, everything sinks to the bottom and then you're like, well, how long should this be separate? And I think they even I don't know. This isn't a professional opinion or anything. But I've heard that you shouldn't like keep it for more than like a day in your fridge. Because it's like you've crushed it. And now it's kind of like when you cut an avocado, if it sits in the fridge for more than a day, it's brown, and you're like, are you going to eat that? No.
Right. And green juices, they start to lose their nutrient value after a day. Oh. And they're only good for up to 3 days in the refrigerator. Oh. So if you're going on like a week-long juice cleanse, you're going to have to commit to juicing on Monday and then again on Wednesday. Yeah. Unless you freeze them.
Yeah.
So freeze your green juices. They can last in the freezer longer than they'll last in the fridge. And then if you freeze them in ice cube trays, you can throw them in your smoothies. Yes. Boom, boom, boom. And they will froth up your smoothie as the ice.
I mean, I've already thought of freezing my coffee.
I've done that. I've done that.
I've like yet to do that. I'm like, that's so smart. And think about freezing smoothie cubes.
Yes, smoothie cubes. If you eat wheat flour, which is a very common health food, because it's better than the white processed flours, the all-purpose flours. Wheat flour, it stays longer in the fridge. What? So, yeah. So
you think that moisture would be, like, bad.
Right. You would think that that's not the place you want it to be. Yeah. But, in fact, that's where you want it to be. So, if you have wheat flour, you can keep that in the fridge, and it'll stay longer in the fridge than it will in a shelf. It also protects it from bugs and any, outside contaminant that may crawl inside of it. Ugh. That's the worst, is when you open up a bag of, like, rice or flour and there's bugs in it. Yeah. And you're like, what? I don't have bugs in my apartment.
Right?
It's because they're all in here. Yeah. So wheat flour can stay better in the fridge. Berries. Berries are such a good snack. They're such a good health food to have around. They go in a parfait. They can go in a smoothie. But berries can also go bad quickly if you don't care for them the proper way.
It's so sad.
And it's so sad. There's nothing like pulling a strawberry out and it being moldy and realizing it's now molded all of the strawberries.
Yeah.
So the best practice is actually to wait to wash your berries, because when you wash them, that moisture helps the mold grow.
Oh.
So a common misconception is that you should take your berries straight from the store to the sink and then in the fridge.
Yeah.
Wash them up, get them bagged up, whatever you do with them, and put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
You should actually just put them in the fridge and wash them as you eat them.
Oh.
So wash them right before you take them to work or like whatever you do.
Yeah.
Because the moisture will help the mold going.
You're messing with their chemical imbalances.
Exactly. And it encourages spoiling.
Yeah. I had like a little plaque of blueberries and I'm like, these are going to be fine for like a week. And it was like, no. Like the second time I used them, they were all like moldy and I was like, oh man. Yep. So next time I just froze them. I was like, I washed them and then I put them in a Ziploc and I froze them.
And another good thing to do is to make sure you're regularly checking your berries for spoiled berries. So look through them. Go through your berries.
Just
if you're using them.
Burrs.
Yeah, exactly. And regularly pick out bad ones. Like if you're going to get ready to clean out your fridge or whatever, open up those berries and see, do you have any that are going bad? Get them out of there.
Yeah.
Because the adage, like, one rotten apple will spoil the whole barrel or whatever. It's true. One rotten berry will spoil the whole carton.
Yeah.
And it's a sad, sad state of affairs.
Don't need its negative mold.
No, we don't need that negativity in our lives. Another thing that goes bad on me really fast, but I love fresh herbs. I love fresh herbs. Yes. First of all, I love the way they taste. Like, obviously, that's why we use them. But they make me feel like MasterChef.
Oh, yeah. You put a sprig of basil on that pasta, you're like, mwah.
Yeah. I'm like, let me just, smash this basil with my hands to release the natural essence. No big deal. Rosemary straight off the thingamajigger. Okay.
Little sprig on my potatoes.
You want some time? I've got time to give you. Some time. Like, I just love working with fresh herbs. I don't enjoy cooking. I'm not one of those people. I don't enjoy cooking.
I don't really either.
Yeah. No. The kitchen is not my, zone or whatever. So, fresh herbs are, fun for me. This is my way of
making cooking fun.
Making cooking fun. I feel like a cook, even though I'm not. But storing them in water, actually, is supposed to help. Don't fully immerse them, obvi. Put their stems in the water. So if you take a mason jar and fill it up with fresh cold water, and you put their stems in the water and store it in the fridge, they'll stay longer.
Oh, you know what's funny? I kind of noticed when I got organic spinach that it would start when it started wilting. But then I thought, what do they do while it's sitting on the little produce shelf? It's they're always being sprayed with water. Mm-hmm. So I still kept it in its I still keep it in its drawer, but then I would just like spritz the roots with water every couple of days, and then I kept my spinach going longer.
Nice. Yeah, it's just like when you get those live, what is it, the butterleaf lettuce?
Oh,
you
yeah,
can keep those alive
lettuce
for a while.
Yeah, I've set those in like a cup of water, like you said, and just like let its roots sit in there, and then put it by a windowsill. Boom.
Celery too. And I love celery. Let's divide the audience again, guys. I mean, this is a divisive episode. But store your herbs with their stems in the water, and they will stay longer.
Yeah, I don't like celery.
And we're gonna move on. I love it because some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah,
but it's so good for you. It's so good.
It is good, and I might blend it in a juice every now and then.
Every now and then you can, and it does hide well.
Yes,
it really does. It has. I think it has a taste that hides well.
Yeah, I love it in chicken noodle soup. That's the only time.
Yeah. Another thing, you were talking about avocado, actually.
Yeah.
If you cut avocados and you only use half, because you're watching those fats, I can never get... I'm sorry. I have no self-control with avocados. I eat the whole thing every
Unless
time.
I put half of it away, I'll probably eat
I'll salt it and eat it right there and then, like, with a spoon. But if you put lemon juice on the avocado... Mm-hmm. It'll keep it from oxidizing. The oxidizing is what turns it brown. It's also what turns apples brown. So the same concept goes with apples. You can actually soak apples in lemon juice after you slice them for about a minute or so, and then take them out, and they will not oxidize and turn brown.
Oh,
so lemon juice.
Good. I like apples and avocado.
See, let's reunite the audience. Everybody likes apples and avocados. It's right? The A's. Right. So the other thing is root veggies, like onions, potatoes, things like that. I love those. They're a staple of my diet. Red potatoes and onions go in almost everything I eat.
Love it. Love them together.
Oh my goodness. Especially together. Maybe throw some eggs, maybe some avocado.
Maybe you have a breakfast going.
Right. A nice sprig of rosemary. A sprig of rosemary in my scramby. Store those actually in paper bags. If you store those in paper bags, it keeps light out of them, which will prevent them from going bad.
You know what's really stupid? I just realized you're like, yeah, it's a root vegetable. I'm like, why would you take the light away from them? Oh, because they live in the ground?
Yeah. They thrive in the dark, homie. But yeah, if you store them in a cupboard that's like, a moderate cupboard where it's not too wet, not too hot or whatever, in a paper bag, they're supposed to stay way longer. And I tested this out. I put... potatoes. I put potatoes in a paper bag a few days after we recorded our last episode. It's been about a week and a half now, 2 weeks. And they are still good because I've had them in that paper bag. None of them is sprouted. They're not getting mushy and they're not molding.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm.
So potatoes, man, put them in a paper bag. Onions, put them in a paper bag. Yeah. Any root vegetable will thrive. Yeah. Well, it'll actually stop thriving, I guess. It'll stop. Its organisms will chill out, man. Yeah. It's not decomposed yet. And then dry grains, like rice and, all of that. If you store them in mason jars, they prevent bugs and rodents from getting into them. So apparently that's a big deal, is bugs and rodents getting into your dried grains. And grains are so good to have on hand. Yeah. They're really quick. They're easy. They're cheap. Brown rice is good diet food because you put it with chicken, you can put it with beans.
Yeah, and you can buy those in bulk too, and we get those little we get those little tub containers from Home Depot that have the screw-on lid, and then we'll just buy one of the giant bags and dump it all in there, and then dump in a smaller container for upstairs, so we just have it ready, and then we can just come downstairs and fill it and not have to go to the store.
Yeah.
I hate being out of rice when I want it. I hate it. Yes. It makes me so instantly mad. Unreasonably mad.
Oh, I'm learning. You have a thing about rice.
Yeah. Because I don't really have it often, so if I go to get it, I kind of just expect it to be there.
Right? It should be there. I put some there. Haven't eaten any since. By the power of deduction.
Yeah. And that's why I started buying it in bulk. So I don't get angry.
Well, and so if you are like Crystal and you buy your rice in bulk, make sure that you're storing it properly so you can prevent bugs, because you don't want to get halfway through your rice and realize you've been eating bugs. Although some bugs can have a good protein value. You should only eat bugs that are prepared by a real chef. I'm just going to say that now.
Disclaimer.
And I've eaten bugs, okay? I'm being honest with you all right now. I'm being very raw. But yeah, so those are different ways to keep your healthy foods good and, make that money carry you into the, further than 3 days.
Yeah.
And don't let money be an excuse for not eating well.
Yeah, because if you can store your food better and make it last longer, then it's like you're creating less waste, you're spending less money, and like potatoes and grains are super cheap.
Yeah. Well, that's all we've got for you guys. So until next time, guys, thanks.
Bye.